So let me give you the backstory here. So a woman in America inherited a house.
Yeah.
And she went to this house. Obviously, it belongs to her. She opens the door, and there's a bunch of guys in there.
Okay.
Squatters' rights, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to tell them to jog on.
Mm-hmm.
The police get involved. Take a guess at who gets arrested.
Her.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think it's that deep in the UK anymore. Like, I don't think people can really get away with it over here.
It happens in the UK. I know someone that happened to.
No, it happens, but it's not like a thing where it commonly happens and people get away with it.
Oh,
like their rights are slowly going.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's insane to me that, like, I don't know if it's widespread in America, if it's just county, it differs per county. But how can someone that's breaking and entering? Like, how can someone that doesn't have any legal grounds over the property have a claim to what's in there? If
there's no forced entry, that's what gives them the right.
So, say we're in America, yeah, and someone opens that door. Let's say that we open that door, we leave it open, we go to bed.
Yeah.
And then someone walks in, shuts the door. We don't come and check it for a week. And they're just in here living. Will we have trouble getting them out?
Yeah.
No. I'm going to drag you out. Fuck it, we'll go to prison. I'm not having that. If I go on holiday and I come back and there's someone living in my house.
There's more to it, though. It's a lot. There's actually a concept to it. So, right. So for a squatter to obtain their adverse possession, they must prove that they have occupied the property continuously and openly for the required period, and that they have functioned as if they were the owner of the property during that time. So it's important to know that a long-term squatter who is living in someone else's property may apply for squatters' rights and claim ownership of a property through adverse possession if they have occupied the property continuously for 10 years or if the property is registered with HM Land Registry. So they actually have to be in there for a long period of time. Are squatters allowed to break in? People in this situation are called trespassers. Squatting in residential properties is against the law and you can be arrested. Mm-hmm. If you are found guilty, you can be sent to prison, fined, or both. You can also be charged if you damage the property, for example, breaking a window to get in. So the way it works is if you gain access into a property without breaking in, and you reside there between 5 to 20 years, you then have squatters' rights. Anything before that, if you've just broken in and stayed there for a week, you ain't got no rights. It has to be a long period of time.
Is that UK?
Yeah. I don't know about America.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same in America. Yeah. But in the UK, apparently squatters' rights came to pass in 1977, and it prevented landlords from using threat, force, or violence as a means of eviction. Kind of nonsense is that? I'm sorry, you break into someone's family home. I don't care if you've actually broken in. If you trespass, in my opinion, you've forfeited your safety. In my opinion, I know that might sound fucked up to say, but how am I going to come home to a house that I worked for, and now I have to argue with you because I've been gone for a long time? Are you a fucking idiot? I might even be like, look, if it's someone that's homeless and they came in, they were like, I'll still be pissed if they were like, I was in your house. But if they vacate the premises, I'll be like, all right. I'm a little bit creeped out because someone's been living in my house, but doesn't have to be any violence. There doesn't have to be any of that. If I come home and you're saying to me, no, this is my place now, we're both going to prison. I'm not dealing with that bullshit.
Well, they won't even end up going to prison.
Just me.
Yeah.
That's some fucking bullshit.
I'm not leaving my house.
Less than 10 minutes after police left and the locks were changed.
That's
not going on. The man who claims to be the one actually leasing the house shows up.
Call the police again.
With the other guy, police took off the property.
Do you see this? This guy just literally broke down my door. Broke through myself and my daughter to get in here. This guy just forced himself into my house.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
No, he did.
And so did you. You broke through the front door.
Officer.
The man called the police on her.
So why is it that I have to leave and he doesn't have to leave?
Because technically he can't be kicked out. We need to go to court.
They consider this a landlord-tenant issue. And by law, it has to be handled through the housing court, not with police.
If you own this house, you would not want her inside.
I don't own the house. I don't own it.
Exactly,
yes.
she does.
Yes, but then once again, you should know how the law works.
I do know how it works.
There's rules to the as you got to go to court and send me to civil court.
He says he signed a lease in October, but wouldn't tell us with who.
I got proof longer than that.
Show us the proof.
But who are you for me to show? I showed it to cops.
Dan with Channel 7 News. If you don't want to show it, you don't want to show it.
Proof. Come here, brother. I like that.
I would like to see it.
He didn't show me a lease.
This is a bill.
A bill for work he says he had done to the house. He didn't show police a lease either.
The police department doesn't have the lease?
No.
He's got no documentation.
Just bills.
So Adele, you're getting arrested right now?
I'm being arrested.
For what?
For being
in my own home.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
She's being arrested for being in her own home. Whichever moron passed that law, I hope like, you're no longer in
You know
power.
what it is? It's a case of, yeah, these people have entered without permission, but once you become a landlord, aside from the squatting situation, once you become a landlord, you can't just enter your own home whenever you want because the tenants have rights. Yeah. So from where she's saying, I'm being arrested for being in my own home, granted, in this scenario, they are wrong, but in the eyes of the law, once you rent out your home, you can't just enter your own home.
Yeah, if we were to rent out a place, the landlord
Yeah.
can't just come in, but we wouldn't be squatters. We'd be legitimately
Yeah, I
renting.
get
That
it,
guy
but
had
because
no
there's-
lease.
Yeah, but because there's squatters' rights and there's laws surrounding it, essentially, that's why they're saying you have to take it to the courts, and it becomes a landlord-tenant issue, even though he's not officially the tenant because he's been living there. Now it's become this thing automatically, and now she has to do it through. She has to take him to court. She's going to have to pay a lot of money, but unfortunately, that's how backwards the government is.
I don't even think it's backwards. I think they did it on purpose. They know that there's like a homelessness situation.
Maybe.
They know they're going to make money off us because we have to pay the legal fees now just to get back in my own home. If anyone wants to ever argue that the government are not scumbags, I don't even want to hear it. That's the most stupid shit I've ever heard in my life.
But yeah, it is outrageous that you could go, say for instance, you went abroad for like 6 months and then you come back and there's just a random person living in your house and you can't do anything and you have to go through all courts and stuff to get them out is crazy.
It's insane. Like, I mean, they're going to piss off the wrong person one day that hasn't got that much to lose other than its house. And I wouldn't feel sorry. I wouldn't feel sorry for someone.
They're brave.
They are brave.
I give them that. They're brave. And they always stand there at the door like, no, you're not coming in. This is my home now. And that's crazy in itself.
That's mad. What hubris to do some bullshit like that. You must be insane. You're going to do it to the wrong person. You're going to do it to some guy in Peckham that has had enough of life. And you're going to say, you ain't coming in here. Oh, he's coming in.
This is my home, and there's somebody in there, an intruder in there, intruders, who I do not know.
This wooded corner lot in Tucker was for sale, posted as plain as day online, for sale, not for rent. On closing day, homeowner Ronan McCabe discovered people, strangers, had moved in and changed the locks.
They broke into my house and moved in. All the locks had been changed.
Friday, October 20th, Mr. McCabe called Gwinnett County Police. The home had been empty for just a few weeks before it was filled with a stranger's furniture. He says the couple inside told police they had a lease.
They have no contract, no agreement with me. Gwinnett County Police are saying that there's nothing that...
The Gwinnett PD's third trip was different. Things changed very fast. A woman who told police she was his wife abruptly left. He came out, went back in. Suddenly, U.S. Marshals started flooding the street. It seems they had a parallel investigation. Finally over, right? Nope. The female was back in the home. She hadn't been arrested for anything.
I'm asking her to move her stuff out today.
You can ask, but it might not pan out.
You can ask, but it might not pan out. What a load of bullshit. It's insane.
It is, and it's sad that you've put it on for sale. You need to get rid of it, and someone's just come and fuck your shit up. You know what though? This is why you can't put outside shots of your house online. You just can't, because you are putting yourself at risk of squatters or break-ins or anything happening. So, advice, if you're putting your house up for rent or for sale, don't put an outside shot.
When you say an outside shot, you literally mean...
A picture of the front of the house, where people can see door numbers or what it looks like or anything like that.
Doesn't everyone do that?
No.
Oh, they don't? Whenever I go on Zoopla, I'm just like, oh, that looks nice from the outside, and then you look inside and it looks shit.
Yeah, no, not everyone does it.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I probably wouldn't look at a house if I couldn't see the outside of it.
Yeah, but once you know the road name, you can go on Google like Street View and look at what they will look like from the outside anyway.
Couldn't the squatters do that?
But how are they going to know which house it is? If you see a 2-bedroom house up on Smith Road, you can go on Smith Road, but you're not going to know which one that is.
No, that's true.
There's ways to figure it out.
So you don't put your door number, you don't take a picture of the outside?
No. Just all inside shots.
My wife and I built our house 25 years ago.
Jim Johnson and his wife, Lark, were looking forward to some good neighbors when the for rent sign went up on this house in their cul-de-sac. But last week, they were shocked when a family seemingly moved in overnight.
When they show up and immediately rip down the sign of the leasing company or the owner company, you're kind of like, well, that raises a little concern. And then the next move is a locksmith shows up. You're kind of like, well, that's even more of a concern.
A call to the management company confirmed their fears. The new residents are not renters, but rather squatters.
They've gone to the grocery store. They've had cable come out. They are acting like they live there, but they have no furniture. They brought in a lot of blankets.
Hi, I'm Maya from Channel 13. Can I talk to you guys? Were you guys supposed to be staying here?
When we knocked on the door, a young woman answered.
Were you guys supposed to be staying here? Are you guys squatting?
She didn't want to talk to us, but a short time later, the sheriff's department was called. The deputies have confirmed to us that they are investigating the squatting situation. But for now, this has remained a civil matter, much to the chagrin of the neighborhood.
Well, what's been frustrating is that I have a 12-year-old that I don't even let walk across the street to her best friend's house without watching her, and we've never had that problem.
The ownership company says it has filed eviction papers, but our experience covering these stories shows sometimes it can take 6 months to a year for the process to work through the courts.
Yeah, it's a long process. For me, it's minimum 6 months up to a year, yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If I now enter my home without breaking and entering when they're not there, say they go on holiday for 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Who?
These squatters, let's say they leave for 4 weeks. They leave all their stuff there. And I now enter my home. Aren't I technically the squatter? Where's my squatter's rights?
I don't know the answer.
I think that's a loophole, you know?
Yeah, but I don't think squatters do go on holiday, if I'm honest.
Yeah, obviously.
So, for me, it just frustrates me when I see other people taking from people who have worked hard to get to where they are. Like, it's like you just can't have nice things in this life because other people are always going to just steal and take from you. And it is stealing what they're doing. Yeah,
that's scummy, man. Like, I understand people can be down on their luck and they want a piece of the pie.
Someone can go bankrupt because of this because they ain't getting no rent.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a scumbag thing to do. I know people can be down on their luck, but it doesn't give you the right, and it doesn't mean you should go and take somebody else's shit. That is some low down, scummy shit. I mean, it's one thing, to do it, and there's no one comes check on the house because you know there's loads of abandoned properties in the UK. If the property is truly abandoned and no one's there, no one's been there for years, I don't think anyone's gonna have much of a problem with it. Probably still shouldn't be there, but I'm not going to walk up to somebody that's hiding in an abandoned nursing home or an abandoned house or something and be like, get out. You know, whatever. No one's coming back here until they demolish it. But if someone's built a house and then put it up for sale and you break in and you start living in there and then you have the goal to say, this is my place, whatever happens to you, I don't feel, and that goes for your family as well, whatever happens to you guys, you brought that on yourself.
It all just doesn't make sense because if people can get done for trespassing, I don't get why it just then changes if they've trespassed and then said I'm a squatter. Like there's got to be a loophole in it somewhere. It doesn't make sense or add up. If a homeowner took someone to court for it, is the homeowner always going to win at the end, or is there a chance of these squatters actually winning and keeping possession of the house? It's just weird.
Well, there has to be a chance because if they have rights, then if you have to take them to court to get them out, they must have to defend themselves. Maybe if there's actual defense, can they defend themselves to the point where you can't get them out of there and it becomes their home?
No, because tenants have rights, but if you've got a valid reason to get a tenant out, then by the end of it, you have to go through the whole eviction process, which can take 6 months to a year, and it's expensive, but by the end of it, you are going to be able to get them out. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's rights, but it just means you just can't kick people out there and then. You've got to follow a procedure and the law, and there's a process in getting them out.
What if you're making the bare minimum, you're just about getting by, and now you got to pay legal fees as well? Can't you take it to the court and say, look, I can't even pay for these legal fees? What if you can't pay legal fees? What happens?
I think that's one thing in life, in a lot of situations where it's unfortunate if you can't. You see what I'm saying? You
fuck the government, because they gave these squatters those rights, so of course they're going to take advantage of it. Fuck the government, fuck the people that put that in there. Any place that does squatters' rights, fuck that government. They're imbeciles. Of course these people are going to take advantage of it. If they have rights and they've been living on the streets, so they've been living hard, I get why they would want to go into somebody else's property to live in the heat or live in some sort of warmth. It doesn't give them the right, and I definitely don't support it. But if the stupid government gave them those rights, then I'm not even sure if I should be pointing my anger at the squatters or at the government.
Well, squatters took over my mom's house after my dad passed away. We were trying to sell the home. I called local law enforcement, and as soon as they saw that there was furniture in the house, they said that I had a squatter situation and they had basically no jurisdiction and they couldn't do anything. So I dissected the laws over a weekend. I basically figured out that until there's civil action, the squatters didn't have any rights. So if I could switch places with them, become the squatter myself, I would assume those squatter rights. Just in case they had a fake lease, like I hear some do, I had my mom write me up a lease. We got it notarized.
I was right. You can do it. You can go into the property when they're not there, assume the squatter position when they don't have any civil case over it, get a fake lease as well, and now you're the squatter. Now you got a whole palaver on your hands.
You know what it is? It's a case of like the concept of moving a tenant into your property and then your tenant doesn't pay rent. You still just can't kick them out. You've got to go through the whole eviction process. So that's you paying for these court fees to get them out and not getting rent for however long. This is why you always got to keep money for a rainy day.
What if, say like you put some tenants in there and it's only been 1 month they haven't paid?
Yeah.
Can you not kick them out?
No.
That's it. Once you got someone in there, you have to trust them.
Well, no, it's a process. I mean, if they don't pay, then you serve them with something called a Section 21 for them to vacate. And if they don't vacate by the time that notice has expired, then you have to take them to court. And then eventually, after the eviction process with the courts, that takes around 6 to 12 months, you'll get given a bailiff date. And if they haven't vacated on the bailiff date, that's when the bailiffs come and basically usher them out.
It's just so much nonsense. I can imagine being in that situation, my blood boiling. I can just imagine looking at the fucking squatter and being like, there's no way I'm arguing to get in my place right now. I'd have to have someone like you or one of my friends there to calm me down. I think I'd reach boiling point in like 2 seconds. That's too much for me.
Wonderful.
I'm coming to move in.
You are?
Yeah, I got the keys. What's for dinner?
I'm not cooking dinner. I'm finna go pick up my child.
Oh, can I get in?
No, sir.
But I have the deed here.
You do?
Yeah, here's the deed. Here's the check.
All right.
Here's the deed, and I got permission from the landlord.
Okay, tell the landlord to come here.
I can legally go in there.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I can legally go.
Yeah, you can legally come in.
So let me in my house.
I'll let you in your house. This is Lynn Williams' house.
Oh, it's
Lynn Williams.
It doesn't say Lynn.
Well, of course not, because she took all my paperwork and everybody else know it.
Is that power hooked up legit there?
My power is.
That's not legit.
It's not legit.
No, you stealing a little bit of power.
I am blessed. Until
Oh.
I'm going to jail for squatting.
That's a turn of events.
Call my boyfriend next up.
Are you going to bail her out?
This is technically a violation of probation, so.
Oh.
This is the thing, though.
Violation of probation as well.
They're all getting away with everything they're doing by just lying, and the whole thing's actually just one big joke if you think about it. They're creating fake paperwork. They're lying, saying this person owns the house and they took my paperwork, and it's just the whole thing is just quite...
It's nonsense. This is fucking nonsense. This is like some bizarro bullshit you'd see in a cartoon. The fact that I can make fake paperwork. Is it like if you and your family left and you went somewhere for a long time and I rolled up here, found one of the doors open, made some fake paperwork, I can just cause you guys all kinds of problems. Listen, that if you want to play with your life like that, by all means go ahead, but I ain't gonna feel sorry for anyone. If you go through any kind of torture, any kind of having to deal with some fuckery from the landlord, that's on you. You want to enter somebody's property, as far as I am concerned, you have relinquished your safety. So So if you're comfortable doing that, go ahead. And they need to repel them.
Have you seen the one that happened in the UK of like these people that were using their house as a brothel? What? And then the bailiffs came to evict them and the bailiffs couldn't get them out and then the bailiffs had to get the police involved.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a brothel, God, man. People have got some fucking unbelievable.
Paul Bohill and Phil Short are High Court enforcement agents. They work all over England and Wales, seizing property and collecting debt. Today, they're heading to East London to carry out an eviction.
Is it a woman's name on there? Or Mr. Yes. Ms?
The tenant owes £15,000 in rent arrears, but Paul and Phil are not collecting the debt. They're here to evict the tenant.
It's just a straightforward repossession, just a simpling out, really. We'll park here.
But it's going to be far from a routine eviction.
I'm Paul Bohill, and this is Phil.
That's okay.
You're the landlord, are you?
Oh, I'm representing the landlord.
Okay.
The letting agent guaranteed the rent and was responsible for paying it directly to the landlord. But this plan backfired when the tenants failed to pay him, and he's now £15,000 out of pocket.
Just a bit of advice, I mean, these guys are dangerous.
Really?
Just quietly.
Relations between the letting agent and the tenant have gone sour, but dangerous behaviour is news to Paul.
You want to call the police just in case?
Okay. No.
Paul decides to carry on without police backup.
If you just hold back there a sec. When we go to a repossession, the only information that we have from the writ is the name of the tenant and the landlord and the address to actually serve the writ. So we have no background information and we don't need it. Our instruction is purely to repossess the property.
Go on, Paul.
Hello, I'm from the High Court. We have a repossession order for this property. Are you that lady there?
No, it's Romanian name, but I don't know.
Does she live here?
No. What happened?
The landlord has gone to court and has asked for the property back. So in other words, you have to leave now.
Now?
You have 1 hour to get your personal belongings out, and then you can make an arrangement with the landlord to come back and collect the rest.
1 hour?
1 hour, yeah.
But it's winter outside.
I'm sorry, I have no control over that. This shouldn't be a surprise to you because this has been going on for months.
Who is this lady?
According to this, she's actually the person who rents this property.
I don't know why these people act all stressed and sad and depressed when you're living in a house and not paying someone their money. Like, no sympathy, zero sympathy. Yeah. £15,000 in rent arrears and you want to sit there like, oh, it's winter outside. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Are there other people who live here?
Yeah.
How many other people?
I don't know exactly.
But we need to change the locks.
Now?
No.
Only 1 second.
Paul hasn't found the tenant listed on the writ, but the woman appears to be living at the property, and she's not alone. Several other Romanian women are in the house. Paul makes the most of the open door and steps over the threshold.
That's the locksmith too. You come and start changing these locks.
Now Paul is inside, the property is officially repossessed, and the locks can be changed.
Who lives in this room?
Me.
The house doesn't seem to be a normal family home.
All these seats. This is a waiting room.
This is the waiting room, yeah. Fine, so this is a living room. Why would you have a towel hanging there and tissues on there?
Red curtains, bed in the bathrobe, walking out with a geezer fully clothed.
Just make sure they're all packing.
Phil heads upstairs.
Hello? Just two, yeah? There you go.
And finds several other occupants in 2 of the bedrooms.
The bedrooms are all set up the same. The residents will be women folk, and then you've got condoms, body lotions and tissues and so on. Pretty clear signs that this is being run as a brothel.
Can you imagine? You're a landlord and you go to check on your place and it's a brothel. Well, that is a cruel twist of fate.
Please leave them there.
This is my money.
I don't care, just get out, please. Right, this ain't your curtain, now get out.
Why?
He's not been paid any rent to start with. That's the first problem.
You've got a nerve on you.
It was only after receiving complaints from the neighbours that the letting agent found out what the house was being used for.
Imagine being the dude that was in there getting glazed, and then you get a knock on the door and they're like, tell him to get out. Guy's probably rock solid thinking, what the fuck is going on? He ain't getting his money back either. What a situation.
That's if they take the money first.
I assume they would, wouldn't they?
I don't know. I wouldn't have.
I would assume they would. That if I assume you pay for a service and then they do it, and then you're there getting glazed and knock on the door from Bill and Bob, telling you to get out. I'd be shitting myself.
They've been telling me that there's stickers on the lampposts. People are then knocking on wrong doors and whatnot, saying, you know, I'm here for whatever.
The letting agent is now threatened with a £20,000 fine from the council if he doesn't close the brothel down.
We don't want this happening in the first place, realistically. We just want it a nice family home.
The eviction appears to be going to plan, but the women are in shock.
I stay here, in the street, on front of this house. Because I don't have another... nothing.
I feel a little bit bad for the women if they're completely unaware. Like if they're, I mean, they're probably getting a free ride, whatever. But the person that is doing this and taking all the money, he's the one that they really need to sort out. Yeah, it's fucked up. There's a bunch of prostitutes in your yard.
They probably know what they're doing, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Maybe they do. Maybe they do all know. But imagine you didn't, and your life just turns upside down. I mean, to be doing that kind of stuff in East London, you got to imagine what kind of position these people are in anyway. Not the person that is, I don't know if it's sex trafficking or what, but those actual girls, to get a knock on the door when you already lived that lifestyle and be told, right, you're out, that's it, you're gone. Everything that you were doing, everything you had set up, whatever plans you had, that's it. You're on the streets. And you know that guy that was stealing money or whatever, not paying people, he's not going to help you. Now you're well and truly fucked.
As the deadline to leave approaches, Paul wants to get everyone out.
Stand on the door. It's only out now. No more in.
But unknown to the team, the woman on the phone has changed her mind about leaving.
No one else goes in now.
And she asks the other women to do the same.
What's going on? What are you doing?
Did you see that?
She's riling them up.
It's that whole concept of no one can stop us. Like, we're here, we're in the wrong, but they can't stop us.
Can they actually stop them, though?
It's a difficult one. I mean, realistically, that's the whole point of bailiffs.
Mm.
But at the same time, the bailiffs are refusing to do anything until the police come, which makes me think maybe not.
So it's more like an intimidation tactic. And if you don't know your squatters' rights, then they can get you out. But if you know what you're talking about, then they can't actually do anything. But even if the police show up, doesn't it have to go to court? So technically the police can't even take them either. But it may be because it's a brothel, the police have more ground to shut it down.
These ones don't need to go to court. It's already gone to court. That's why the bailiffs are there. The bailiffs is the last step. Once it's gone to court, and you have to be out now. So they're not in any rights to actually be in this home anymore because they've been taken to court, and today's the day that they are getting evicted.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so there's no more tenants' rights. So she's actually chatting shit by saying they can't do nothing. But maybe because it's a bunch of men, they can't really ropes up the women. I don't know. they're bailiffs, they're not police officers.
I was going to make a joke there, but be in bad taste.
The mood in the house changes.
Wow! We'll call the police. No, you've got to go out. No more in.
Now Paul and Phil suddenly have a situation on their hands. This eviction could spiral out of control.
No, you've got to go out.
I don't know what they thought was going to happen, but, you know, they gave it their best shot.
Guy just wants to get home to his wife. Now he's dealing with prostitutes and potentially angry pimps. He's not even an officer. This is nonsense, man. Like, if it gets to the point where, and it's a situation like this, and you call the police and they're like, yeah, we're in a brothel, bro. They should be able to grant you some rights. Like, come on, man. Like, they should be... Once the bailiffs get their foot over the door, they have right to possess the property, right? They have to actually get in. Once they get in, and it's a situation like this, we've identified it's a brothel, we've confirmed everything, they should be allowed to keep the girls out, in my opinion. There shouldn't be a situation where the girls can force themselves back in. If this shit was inside, I imagine in some countries they wouldn't put up with this shit. If they kick you out of the house, just stay in that house.
Yeah, the UK pretty much allows everything.
Yeah, we're pushovers over here. Like, I mean, you saw that whole like Mizzy situation. Boys just running into people's houses and shit. You've got situations here where there'll literally be crimes being committed in front of the police. They're like, oh, I've got to take a statement whilst my man's just bleeding out over there.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense.
With their minders not far away, the women try again to get back into the house.
The water, please. Oh, have problem the hand. No? Okay.
Bă, I want to go to toilet.
Spune. Minte că ești gravidă. Minte că ești gravidă.
Bă, nu pot să zic.
I hate it when people do that. When you're in a high... No, not that. I hate it when you're in like a high pressure situation like this. Nobody's trying to get to the toilet. You know nobody needs to go to the toilet. It's just you're trying to do something. If I was in a situation like this, my heart would be racing too much to think about pissing. Right? You wouldn't
yeah, no,
really
they're just using an excuse to get into us. That's why she said, tell them you're pregnant.
Oh, okay. Is that what she said?
Yeah, she said, tell them you're pregnant because you can't actually refuse a pregnant person a toilet access.
Oh, is it against the law?
I don't know if it's against the law, but I know that if I went to a restaurant that I'm not eating in and I said, can I use your toilet? And they said no, and I said, well, I'm pregnant, they have to let me use the toilet.
Is it they have to, or everyone's just like, oh, she's pregnant, let her go in?
Google it. Let's find out.
In the UK, a pregnant woman can legally relieve herself anywhere she wants.
Even in a kitchen sink?
Anywhere she wants, even in a policeman's helmet. It specifically says, in a policeman's helmet.
There we go.
A woman has a legal right to take your hat and relieve herself, and you can't do jack shit about it. That's pretty... If I was a woman, I'd take advantage of that. If there was a police officer...
You'd probably have to show proof if you're pissing in a policeman's hat. Come on now, let's be real.
No, if I was a woman and I was pregnant and you're pissing me off, I'm pissing in your hat. I get on your level of the whole pissing in the sink thing. I'm pissing in your hat.
That's how rumor starts. I haven't ever, nor will I ever piss in a sink. For context, Michael's talking about a different Midnight Rubbish video we did called Am I the Arsehole? Because the boyfriend pissed in a sink. If you want the context, go watch the video. But for clarity, I have not and will not piss in a sink. Thank you very much.
They appeal to Paul and the letting agent.
One day.
One house, please.
No.
You come in my
Wait,
house.
1 second.
No.
I've not received rent since May. Nobody pays single penny, okay? Now, you're talking about 1 day. What about me? 1 year waiting, no money.
No,
You're leaving for free.
Sorry, me come in here only 2 weeks.
I understand that. But the people who you're giving the rent to, you need to speak to these people who give you the house.
Effectively, to coin the legal term, they're on their arse in the street fighting to come back in. But if their people, their minders come back, then it will go off.
The women wait for rescue.
Here comes the cavalry.
But fortunately, the police turn up before the minders. The occupants suddenly disappear, except for one, who still refuses to leave.
This is the writ. These people, and it's obviously a brothel running here.
Oh, it's a brothel, is it?
It was, yeah. There were 6 girls working here. There was a customer here who got his head up his arse and disappeared as fast as he possibly could. If you just tell this girl out here that we are official, that the warrant we hold has been signed by a judge, she's got to go.
You want to speak to me outside?
The woman is finally out of the house.
You're okay up there now? All done?
Yeah, pretty much. Probably going to stay here.
The neighbours are going to be really pleased. Could tell you.
Yeah, they already are. They started phoning me saying congratulations and just hope we can settle down on this side.
I'm glad we could achieve a result.
After a dramatic standoff, Paul and Phil have successfully completed the eviction.
If you do try and break into the property afterwards, that's an offence, which you will be arrested for. Okay?
Okay.
Over the past 12 months, we've attended to 3 or 4 evictions, which have turned out to be brothels. But the fact that the girls were working girls didn't have any impact on me, because quite clearly, none of that's got any consequence to the result.
So part of me that feels a little bit bad for those women, because I can imagine they're fed a lot of bullshit. Imagine you didn't actually know and your handlers didn't really tell you. You've been up since 9 a.m. getting your cheeks clapped and now you've got to spend the night on the road. That is insane. That's quite sad. How many say 4 brothels?
Dunno.
London's out here doing the most. That's crazy. I mean, ultimately, they need to get the person that was taking the money, that woman. It's hard to really know what position those girls are in, but if I was renting out a property and I found out they turned into a fucking brothel, I don't even know how I'd react. That's insane. There's people in my house. There's semen everywhere. There's semen everywhere.
Imagine you're like in there like refurbing it and you keep getting men knocking on the door.
I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Nah, man. Can you imagine you got one of those lights that shows you what's on the walls and you just see splatters of white everywhere.
That is a drop me out moment right there.
I'm calling this. Someone's going to get hurt if that's the case. Can you imagine you came home and there's red lights everywhere? You'd be like, and there's a room down there with like a blue light. You're like, all right, cool. Calling the police.
What in the police siren is this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, fuck squatters. Fuck the government for giving them rights.